Good morning, everybody. Let's go over page 447 from yesterday. We're going to do a little work today, and then you'll have a page to do. And of course, later today, then we will do some math games on Archidemic. So on page 447, I believe it's Cecilia, and she's going on a canoe trip. So on the first day, she traveled 1/4 of the 36 miles. So we wrote out 1/4 of the 36. And then we're going to do 1/4 times 36 over 1. We put 36 over 1 again. I know I say this all the time, but it's because it's a whole number. And that's how we keep its value. We haven't changed the 36. 1 times 36 is 36. 4 times 1 is 4. We improper fraction. 4 goes into 36 9 times. So we have 9 miles as our first one. Let's make that a little bit better. And you go back to using that thin dry erase marker. So the next one we have on Saturday, they traveled 5/12 of the 36 miles. How many miles is that? So we take our 5/12 and we times it by 36 over 1. So then we have to do 12 times 1 is 12, of course. 5 times 36, so 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. So I'm getting 180 over 12. So if we divide 12 into 180, goes in there once. We get 6. 12 goes into 60 5 times. And we get 15 miles. Good job. When we come over here, we have 1/3 of 36 for Sunday. So again, we're going to put 36 over 1. We'll change that to a multiplication sign. We get 36 over 3. Correct. And 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I'm getting 12 miles. Let me know if you have any questions about this. Now, on to today's stuff. So I just want to keep going over. When we have a problem like 1/2 of 1/2, right? So what does that word of mean? Yes, we know it means it's going to be a multiplication problem. But again, I keep going back to drawing this out because I really want you to guys get an understanding of what you're doing here and not just quickly running through it. So 1/2 of 1/2. So if we have a bar here and we cut it in half, we're talking about cutting this piece in half again. And that would be 1/4. So mathematically, that's what it is. So we turn this into 1/2 times 1/2, and we get 1/4. So what about 1/3 of 1/2? So it would be the same concept down here. We would be erasing this and turning it into thirds. So there's a third there and a third there. And we want 1/3 of 1/2. I'm sorry. Let me change that around. Apologize if I'm making you seasick. It's 1/3 of 1/2. So if we do this again and we cut it in half, we're talking about cutting this into thirds, right? We're talking about this piece right here. So we'd come up here and we would do 1/3 times 1/2, and our product would be 1/6. So again, our product is less than, right? Well, we're multiplying. A 6 is less than a half, and a 6 is less than a third. If you don't believe me, take a candy bar and then have your mom or dad say, hey, share that with your brother or your sister, and you get your choice between having a half of a bar or a sixth of a bar. You take the 6 and see if it's not less. All right, 1/4 of By the way, I enjoyed the discussion about how many pets everyone has. It's always interesting. So we would do 1/4 times 1/2, right? And we would end up with 1/8. That's just my coffee being ready. We'll do a couple more. 1/5 of 1/2. So is this going to be, when we multiply it, right? 1/5 times 1/2. Our answer is going to be less than both of these, right? Because it's going to be 1/10. And so it is going to be less than both of those. And we'll do one more. 1/8 times, of 1/2. 1/8 times 1/2. All right, so here we're using of. We draw it out to kind of get that picture in our head, right? Here we turn that of into the multiplication sign, and here we're going to write our product, and we get 1/16. So interesting stuff. So again, I want to pose a question of, when you had 1/4 of 1/2, why don't you come up with halves or fourths? Why do you think you come up with eighths? So think about that question today. I'll repeat it. When you find 1/4 of 1/2, this one we're talking about right here, why don't you come up with halves or eighths as an answer? Why do you think you come up, halves or fourths as an answer? Why do you come up with eighths? Something to think about. Our student of the day is Sean from Mr. Hunsinger's room, Sean Cena. And you guys are going to do page 449. I hope you have a great Wednesday. I hope you get on and play some Archidemic. And if you start a game, let's have that password of 1234. I'll talk to you guys later.